Have you ever heard that the next generation is about to inherit trillions of dollars? It's been called the Great Wealth Transfer, this massive wave of money passing from baby boomers to their kids. The numbers are staggering. We're talking about figures ranging from 30 to over $80 trillion in the US alone over the next couple of decades. Sounds amazing, right? It's often painted as a silver bullet, a natural correction that will finally level the playing field and solve wealth inequality for millennials and Gen Z. But what if I told you this whole idea might be an illusion? What if this great wealth transfer isn't the solution we think it is, but a problem in disguise? Today, we're diving deep into the inheritance illusion and exploring why this historic event might actually make inequality even worse. First, let's understand the hype. The logic seems simple. Older, wealthier generations pass away, and their assets, houses, stocks, savings trickle down to their younger, less wealthy children. With so much money changing hands, it feels inevitable that it would spread out and lift everyone up. Media headlines often fuel this optimism, talking about a golden age for inheritors. It's a comforting thought, especially when you look at the financial struggles many young people face today, from student debt to impossible housing markets. The idea that a big inheritance is just around the corner offers a glimmer of hope. But hope and reality are two very different things. When we scratch beneath the surface of these multi-trillion-dollar headlines, the picture gets a lot more complicated. The first major crack in this theory is who actually gets the money. The wealth isn't spread evenly across the baby boomer generation. Far from it. A huge portion of that $80 trillion is concentrated in the hands of the wealthiest 10%, and even more so in the top 1%. Think about it. If a billionaire leaves their fortune to their children, that money stays locked within an already wealthy family. It doesn't get redistributed to a struggling middle-class family across town. So, while the total amount being transferred is enormous, it's not a gentle rain falling on everyone. It's more like a powerful river flowing down a channel it has already carved, deepening the divide between the rich and everyone else. Studies have shown that for the bottom 50% of households, the average inheritance is quite small, often just a few $1,000s, not enough to buy a house or erase a mountain of debt. In fact, for many families, there might not be any inheritance at all. We need to consider the rising costs of living, especially for seniors. Healthcare and long-term care are incredibly expensive. Many boomers are spending down their savings to cover medical bills, nursing homes, or in-home assistance. A serious illness can wipe out a lifetime of savings in just a few years. Add to that the fact that people are living longer than ever before. A longer retirement means more years of expenses, drawing down the very assets that were supposed to be passed on. So, the nest egg that children might be expecting could be significantly smaller by the time it's transferred, if it even exists. The reality is that many elderly individuals will need to use their wealth to simply survive comfortably, leaving little to nothing for the next generation. Let's also talk about debt. Inheritance isn't just about assets, it can also be about liabilities. While you don't typically inherit someone's personal debt, if an estate has debts, those are paid off before any money is distributed to the heirs. For example, if a parent passes away with a mortgage on their house, that mortgage has to be paid from the estate's assets. If the debts are larger than the assets, the inheritance can shrink to zero. Furthermore, many young people are already saddled with their own significant debt. A modest inheritance might be a temporary relief, but it's often just a drop in the bucket against six-figure student loans or crippling credit card balances. It doesn't fundamentally change their financial trajectory. It just provides a brief moment to catch their breath before the financial pressures return. Another key factor is the number of heirs. The classic image of a single child inheriting the entire family farm is becoming rarer. Families today often have multiple children. When an estate is divided 2, 3, or even 4 ways, a seemingly large inheritance can quickly become a much more modest sum for each individual. A $500,000 estate, which sounds substantial, becomes $125,000 when split among 4 siblings. While that's certainly helpful, it's not the life-altering windfall that the great wealth transfer narrative suggests. This division of assets means that even for middle-class families with some wealth to pass on, the impact on each child's financial standing is diluted. It helps, but it doesn't launch them into a new economic class. So, if the wealth is mostly going to the already rich, and the middle-class inheritances are smaller than expected, what does this mean for inequality? It means the gap widens. Wealthy families will use these massive inheritances to build even more wealth. They'll invest in assets that generate passive income, buy up more real estate, and fund businesses, all of which further cements their economic advantage. Their children start life on a financial launchpad, while others are still trying to find the stairs. This isn't just about one generation. It's about a cycle. Intergenerational wealth creates dynasties where economic power is passed down, making it harder and harder for those without that initial capital to catch up. The great wealth transfer isn't a reset button, it's an accelerator for the wealth concentration we already see. Think about the impact on society. When a small percentage of the population controls a vast and growing share of the wealth, it affects everything. It influences politics, shapes our cities, and determines who has access to opportunities like quality education and healthcare. The dream of social mobility, the idea that you can work hard and get a head, starts to fade. If your starting point in life is determined almost entirely by who your parents were, it undermines the very idea of a meritocracy. This isn't just an economic issue, it's a social one. It creates a sense of unfairness and resentment, which can lead to social instability. The inheritance illusion distracts us from this reality by offering a false promise that things will sort themselves out naturally. So, what's the takeaway here? Should we all just give up on the idea of a better financial future? Absolutely not. But we need to be realistic. Waiting for an inheritance is not a financial plan. The great wealth transfer is not going to magically fix systemic inequality. It's a story that sounds good but falls apart under scrutiny. The real path to a more equitable future isn't about waiting for money to trickle down. It's about focusing on policies and strategies that create opportunities for everyone, regardless of who their parents are. This includes things like access to affordable education, progressive tax systems, stronger social safety nets, and policies that promote fair wages and worker protections. We also need a shift in our personal mindset. Instead of banking on a future inheritance, the focus should be on building our own financial literacy and security. Learning how to save, invest, and manage debt are skills that will empower you throughout your life, regardless of whether you inherit a dime. It's about taking control of your own financial destiny, rather than passively waiting for a windfall that may never come, or may be far smaller than you imagine. The illusion is tempting, but the reality is that real financial freedom comes from the actions we take today, not the money we might receive tomorrow. The great wealth transfer is happening, but it's not the great equalizer. It's a powerful force that is more likely to reinforce existing inequalities than to solve them. By understanding this, we can move past the illusion and start having more honest conversations about what it really takes to build a fair and prosperous society for everyone. It's a much bigger challenge, but it's one we have to face. Thanks so much for watching. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think the wealth transfer will help or hurt inequality? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content that challenges the way we think about money and society. See you in the next one.